Great guest, great first guest, great kicking it off here. I mean, create Palm Springs. The weather is gorgeous. You know, Jimmy, yesterday I took a tram and I went on top of a mountain, 8,560 feet up. It was really awesome. It was just so super cool. We missed you up there. It would have been great. But I got to tell you, Jim, what are you going to say?
I was going to ask you, how was the altitude? You handle it okay?
My ears popped a little bit. But yeah, no, it was great.
Knees wobbling?
You know who wouldn't have liked it? Jillian would not have liked that. I'm so glad she's not here because she would have hated that thing, you know, spinning around. It was spinning. It was not good. But I got to tell you, Jimbo, we got another great guest here. We are sitting here with some restaurant royalty. Royalty. We have Lauren Bailey here, CEO and co-founder of Upward Projects out of California. So she's very much familiar with this. Lauren, thanks so much for joining us. Before we dig in, we like to know, how did our guests become where they are? How did you get to Upward Projects? Let's take a deep tour back. We're going back to Arizona State.
Uh-oh.
It's 1985. It's Arizona State.
Easy.
You're a freshman.
Hey now.
It's 1998. You're a freshman at Arizona State.
And you're saying
it was 2012. You're a freshman at Arizona State. You're a freshman at Arizona State. And you're saying, you know, I yearn to be in the restaurant business. Tell us, how did you go from Arizona State, working as a director of something very important over there, into your current position?
First of all, it was not in the 80s. I was born in 80. Let me just make that correction.
That's what I meant. I meant you were born in 1985, and then you're in Arizona State in 2012 as a freshman.
Hey, Schatzy, you know why you say people don't like you? Because you lead in by adding 20-something years on our guest.
I meant that she was born in 1985.
Don't worry, Jimmy. I'm real clear on Schatzy's full of it. So
yeah, she's got it. She's got it.
Yeah,
she's got it.
East Coasters are my people. No, I did not choose. I shouldn't say I didn't not choose it, but basically my dad stopped paying for my college and my mom was like, look, you have to come home and go to state school or get a job. So naturally I was like, wow, look at this PF Chang's place. It's so busy and I can work at night. It was the second one ever opened. And so I made a fake resume and went in there.
A lot of experience, right? You had a lot of experience.
Tons. Never been in a restaurant. And I got hired. And so by the end of the first training shift, the guy that was training me was like, you've never worked in a restaurant before, have you? And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, no, but I really need this job and I will do anything. And he's like, all right, fine. And he like slams down this big binder on the table. He's like, you better memorize this and then come back tomorrow and I'll see how you do. And so I cruised by on my bike on the way home and picked up some No-Doz for those of us that remember those days.
Yes.
Modern day 5-hour energy, and stayed up all night memorizing all there is to know about Chinese food.
About PF Chang. That must have been a big book because they're the real deal.
They were the real deal. Rick Federico, God among men, you know, the best human ever, involved from Brinker. So they had no shortage of training materials.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great story, huh?
You know,
I think that. Especially the No-Doz reference. We could have added in did you buy a 6-pack of Jolt Cola as well?
Jolt. Yes.
When double espressos just won't do, here's
I'm
Jolt
so
Cola.
game for bringing Jolt back. I mean, Tab was trying to make a comeback, but Jolt, I would do it.
I love Tab.
Listen, Lauren, I'm at the point in my life and my career where I'll own up to the fact that I don't just have isms. I've got theories. I got sayings. I got them, and I got ideas. Well, I don't know ideas, none original at least, but I got a lot of isms and sayings. I share them all the time. But I've learned that LB, if I can call you that, you too have some themes and lessons that you like to share with your people. To name a few, the early stages of starting restaurants are like starting a band. Mm-hmm. Another one, think about raising capital when you don't need the money. And finally, you can't be everywhere at every time. Can you share a little bit more about these lessons you've learned? And what do you find vital for the emerging restaurateur?
No, I think we don't realize, it's a little like high school and college. You don't realize how awesome it is until you're no longer in it. You know, like I used to joke with my partner, we'd be like behind the dumpster drinking a beer and crying and then patting each other on the back and being like, all right, buddy, you got to get back out there. And you don't realize, you used to say to me, like, LB, these are the days we're going to feel the most alive. And I'm like, I don't feel very alive right now. In fact, I feel like I've been hit by. But truly, like I'll later, and even now I feel like this to some degree, kind of don't realize how amazing it is just being able to figure it out and pivot and do all kinds of different things. And you just have no other alternative than that. And I think that's really special, and it's something to lean into. The band piece is about the Foo Fighters, and they still to this day will say their best album was filmed when they were working in their garage before they had any resources. And I think that's something that's so true, is that for all emerging brands and entrepreneurs is like you have a certain set of resources and you just have to figure it out. And usually if you keep going at it and keep swinging, and something great comes from it. And I just have this glass half full kind of mentality, and you just have to have that when you wake up in the morning, pick up the bat again when you've been hit in the face several times, and a belief system that you'll figure it out. I think the biggest thing, like my biggest ism is like, what's the worst that can happen, is like, that's what picks me up on the days of like, for taking risks, putting yourself out there, doing the thing, saying the thing, asking for the thing. It's like, what can you deal with what's on the other side of that? And 99% of the time you can. And I think we as humans just get really good at talking ourselves out of stuff. Maybe being like, well, I'm not going to ask that person for help, or I'm not going to go up and talk to that person, at a conference here. Mm-hmm. Because we just like are programmed to find reasons why we shouldn't or can't or aren't entitled to do something versus reasons we can. And what's the worst thing that happens if the person says no?
I love it. That was one of the best answers I've ever gotten, Jimmy. Honestly, that was podcast gold. Oh, seriously, that was unbelievable. I mean, it was like so above my head. I was like, what the hell is she talking about? I have no idea. What she's talking about. But it was mind blowing. I loved it. It was very California. It was very yoga, very Zen. I loved it. How many restaurants do you have now?
We just opened our 30th.
30. And how many brands?
I'm a waitress. I love it. We have 5 brands.
5 brands.
But most 30. Of those are Postinos.
Jimmy and I both started in the restaurant business in New York. Jimmy was a bartender. I was a bartender. And I got to tell you, we have some incredible stories that they're just great things that happen in the restaurants, especially as a server or a bartender, So you got 30 stores now, 5 brands. Do you have what kind of great stories can you share? Was the best stories? Was it when you were a server, or is it now as you become an owner operator? Like when were you having the most fun?
Well, I always have fun. I don't know if you know
this. Like I
kind of feel like Jimmy may have told you that I was trying to orchestrate a giant prank against you.
No, that's something Jimmy would never tell me.
I'm still going to tell you this on your podcast.
Jimmy would never tell me that because he would want you to do the prank.
Well, we are going to do it. This is what's going to be even better about it, is I'm going to tell you about the prank, and then we're still going to prank you, and then I'll have this reference point of like, I even told you on your podcast that I was going to prank you.
But I have ADD. I have no idea. I have no attention spans. I have no idea. So whatever you say on this podcast, I will not remember tomorrow. Okay. I'm like a dog.
My point is, though, is like, look, we're not saving babies. We're not doing rocket science. So for me, all along the way, it was like, how do you have fun in the different avenues of life? And like, this is just sort of something I think that keeps that front of mind and keeps my team in like cortisol mode, in frontal lobe mode or out of cortisol mode, and then in oxytocin. And they've done these studies where I figured this out, which was galvanized all the reasons I needed to have more fun from science, which is that when people are in oxytocin in their brain and in their frontal lobe, they will always make better decisions. They'll perform better. When they're in a sense of joy, they've done these studies with doctors even, that they will score better, perform faster, and all around better when they're in a state of oxytocin versus cortisol. So for us, even though this business is stressful, I think the fun part of it, to your question, is like, what's the most fun, is really important. And it's a really like, there's no panels today on like, how do you have more fun with your teams?
Right.
There should be, but there's not. And if I think that was
that a dig to create, Jimmy? I think LB just gave a dig.
No way. These guys are my fave. I'm just saying that it's not like a topic that I think people really like value for some reason. But if you think about it, when you're in a good mood or you're having a great day or you're laughing and feeling joy, you're going to perform better. You just will. It's a known fact.
I got to tell you, we always in the restaurants, in our restaurants, we always say, leave your problems at the door. And I'm not saying you don't have problems, but when you come in, you're on stage, and we'll talk about it after, whatever you want. But when you come in, man, you got to just be on and try and forget about everything, and just have a great time.
Yeah, I don't know if I say leave them at the door. I think that's kind of impossible. Like, bring them along with you, and I'll distract you with something better.
Compartmentalize it, like put it in a corner somewhere until later, when we can talk about it.
Yes, this is also my theory of men's brains are like those lockers with the squares, and then women's brains are like the IKEA shelves where everything's out at all the time, and we can grab and interacting with each other, and you guys are just able to do that.
Yeah, where are women from and men are from? Like, aren't we from Venus and you're from Mars, or someone else is from Venus and I'm from Mars, right?
No, you know what made me pull up when I was pulling up here reminded me of when I was working as a bartender in Nantucket, saving my seed money for my restaurants. And Jimmy Buffett came into the chicken box. Those of you Nantucketers.
You'll even add a Jimmy Buffett story?
I mean, come on, I have
We're in Margaritaville.
I know. So he rolls into the chicken box, which is like the cool bar of the area. And like all the people, Nantucket is a little bit like Dirty Dancing movie, but like more wealthy and more segregated, I would say, in some ways, are the people that live and work there year round, and then the people who visit. And all the people that live there go to this bar. So he rolls in this bar and starts playing all these songs. It's a really small little bar. And he played Brown Eyed Girl. It was amazing. I don't even know that many of his songs, but it was a pretty cool night. That was a fun night. We would haul ass.
I mean, would imagine having Jimmy Buffett in there.
Working in Nantucket, highly recommend. 10 out of 10 if you're in that time period of life. It's such a fun place to be. You can make crazy money. And it was just, those are some of my great memories of restaurant business. Just there's so many you learn. There's nothing else like it. Don't even get me on my soapbox.
I'm just going back to like my days, and Jimmy, you'll appreciate it, like bartending or working in a restaurant as a server. Don't you find that as soon as you start working, like you become best friends with everyone in the restaurant, like really quickly? Not like other jobs, like the first night there, someone's like, hey, we're all going out for drinks after, and you go out, and then you're like within 2 weeks, you're best friends with everyone you're working with, and you're hanging out. Hey, there's my new roommate.
Married,
didn't you just meet last week? That's my new roommate. Yes. It really is a fun business with respect to that. That's awesome. I just hope with all of your stores now and with all of your concepts now, do you still get that joy? Are you still able to do that, or are you like you have to kind of remain CEO kind of,
No, it's funny. Like, I don't think of myself like that at all. And I think sometimes they start out thinking like that. I always go to the openings, I go to orientations, and I always actually ask them, like, how many people have met their best friend, significant other, long-term, whoever, had a business deal with someone they worked in a restaurant with, right? And it's unbelievable to me how many people will raise their hands.
It's got to be 75%. Is it, Jimmy? Jimmy, what do you think? Is it 50? Like, how many people meet their significant other in a restaurant? I mean, come on. Not even just as working, but just even as a guest.
I could say, at least from what I can tell, I'm certain that at least 50% of the people I'm looking at meeting you, Schatz, met his wife, had 3 children as a result of working in a restaurant, and you were the manager, and Jillian was on the server team. So I know at least 50% on this call, meaning yourself, did just that.
Hello, everybody. I've got to talk to you about something really important. It's about point-of-sale systems. Touch Bistro is an all-in-one point-of-sale restaurant management system. That is point-of-sale. That's POS, everybody. Touch Bistro is an all-in-one point-of-sale restaurant management system that makes running your restaurant easier, better, simpler. If it's better, it's simpler, it's easier, you're making more money, you're having a good time. Touch Bistro is providing the most essential front of house, back of house, and guest engagement solutions. All, listen to this, everybody, all on one super duper powerful platform. Touch Bistro helps restaurateurs streamline and simplify their operations. It's allowing them to spend less time, allowing you, the restaurant operator, spend less time manually connecting the dots and more time connecting with guests and growing your business and selling more food and making everybody happy so they come back more and more and more. Hey, you know what Touch Bistro is? It's built for the unique needs of the restaurant industry. Touch Bistro, it's fast, it's reliable, and it's easy to use, and it has all the features that every restaurant operator needs to increase sales, deliver the best guest experience that you can find, and it'll save you both time and money. Time and money. So listen, visit touchbistro.com. That's touchbistro.com and find out some more information. By the way, if you want, you can email me at podcast@brandedstrategic. That's podcast@brandedstrategic.com. Just put in Schatzy, Touch Bistro. I'll connect you to Touch Bistro myself. I will personally walk you to, invite you to meet the CEO, and he will get you set up on Touch Bistro. That's the kind of service they are. They are touch, high touch. That's why it's Touch Bistro. Thanks, everybody.
By the way, I have a question, Lauren. I'm going to jump into talking back, but I have one based on something you said earlier. I would say the following. I would think someone could attribute the word fearless to you. But my question would be, is that true? Is that true that you're fearless? Or is that something you exude, but you recognize that it may or may not be true? If I could ask that question, it's something I sensed on this call. You have this very much of a strength quality of fearlessness, but I wonder if that's also the reality of the situation.
I think it helps that I'm 5'10" and redheaded. That just naturally like.
Yeah, she's very tall, Jimmy.
I also have like jumbo heels on today, just because why not?
I'm gonna go with fearless then.
Do I feel fearless? I don't know. I guess it goes back to the whole thing of like quantify what's the worst thing that can happen, and then in my mind, I'm not kidding you. I think about like if I'm like, oh, I'm going to take this big risk or whatever it is. Like worst case scenario, I lose everything. I'll go back to bartending, and I'm not going to starve. I think that like on the regular, in some way, shape, or form, at least a couple times a week, where I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. And there's some days, I'm not going to lie, when I think about going back to bartending, life might be pretty fun.
I was going to say, have you ever, like, as a, like, what's that show, like, the Undercover, you know what I'm talking about, Jimmy?
Undercover Boss?
Yeah, Undercover Boss. Did you ever, like, do your own, like, Undercover Boss, like, go and become a bartender? Or, like, you have so many restaurants. How many employees do you have now?
I didn't answer your question. So when I start out, I think when I walk in there, they're all a little surprised because there's not a lot of female full service restaurant CEOs. And then I talk to them, I sit with them, we spend time together. I've done every job there is to do in the restaurant. So I'm also always looking for shortcuts, innovations, whatever. So I ask them a lot of questions, and I think they're like, from that moment forward, they're a little bit like, oh, she's one of us. And then I usually try to tell the story of, because it's one of my favorite things about the restaurant business. The restaurant business does not give a fuck if you've been to college, if you have a degree, whatever. It doesn't even care how long you've been in it. It's like, if you want to work hard and you're badass, you can ascend the ranks pretty quickly. And I always like to share with the teams that not only is anything possible with our company, but if they have aspirations to start their own business or do their own restaurant, that they can. My partner and I literally are bartender and server and like scraped together the money and made it happen. And I just believe that in my whole heart. And it's like one of the things I love about it. So there's always like places to find joy.
Yeah, no, I agree. But going back to the Undercover Bossing, do you ever go and like bartend at one of your places?
Okay, a true story. Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna even lie.
No, don't lie. I want to be like, you can lie to Jimmy. You can't lie to me.
Like, yeah, all the time. I wish. No. Okay, so one time I was working at Postino East, and our manager was walking with a whole bunch of wine glasses, and she tripped down the stairs and like really hurt her ankles, and she was like army crawling, trying not to break the glasses. And I'm like, Jax, I love you. And so I'm like, don't worry, I've got it. I'm going to run the shift. This is literally like 5 years ago. And she's like, okay. And she's in the back, her ankle's all swollen. And we do this board and bottle on Tuesday nights. And like the ladies of Gilbert, Arizona descend upon this restaurant. And we're on like a 2-hour wait. And I'm at the door, and this gal will like put her name in. And like 15 minutes later, she's like, is my table ready? I'm like, sister, are you joking? And they're like, stop, you can't talk to the customers like that. And I'm like, well, come on. She just came back up here. And I'm like, fine, I'm going to go over to the thing. I'm like comping stuff, bringing things up. And they're like, don't touch the thing. And then all of a sudden, one of my managers shows up and she's like, Eric called me, you can go. I'm like, oh my God, burn.
Our comps have never been higher since Lauren was like managing for the day. She's like, Jimmy, it reminds me of when I bartended. Jimmy always tells a story like, Schatz is a great partner. Everyone loved me. You know why everyone loved me? Because I never charged anybody. It's like I'm like, get 2 Corona, what are you? You'll get me next time. You get me next time. I just give away whatever it was, you know.
Works itself out.
Yes. Jimbo, take us home, baby.
All right. So listen, Lauren, we love this podcast. We like asking questions. We learned along the way that sometimes our guests have a question for us. So here, let's kick into talking back. You'll have the microphone. You could ask us a question or two. And as I like to say, nothing is off the table. Lauren Bailey, LB, the microphone.
Nothing is off the table. Do you know what you just said?
Jimmy, you giving Lauren that. You can't do that. You got to keep it.
Okay, this is what I'm going to propose.
Oh,
this is what I'm going to propose. I'm going to propose to you guys. I'm going to give you a series of questions, and we're going to see how well you two know each other. And the winner has to take the other one out to an expensive dinner
on Wednesday night.
Choosing.
On Wednesday night.
Yes.
Wednesday night.
So right now, you can
that's
choose.
Jimmy's date night. You can't go out on Wednesday.
The restaurant right now. Which one's it going to be?
Yes.
I will take Jimmy to Barbunya.
Okay, Jimmy, where are you going to take Schatzy?
Schatz is going to lose, and he's going to take me to Cote.
Okay. Ooh, I love that place.
Yeah,
so
Jimmy, I didn't know we were doing it like that. I didn't know we were
Do
like,
it.
I mean, Cody, that's like $500 for the two of us to eat.
Yes.
You know,
It's gonna love every minute.
Barbunia's one of our restaurants. It cost me nothing. You know.
Yeah, that's cheap. Pick a different one.
All right, Jimmy, I'll take it in the Colas. You know, classic Upper East Side. Bring a bottle of wine. All right, I'm taking Jimmy.
Mandate.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Wednesday though, Jimmy. It's got to be Wednesday.
It's got to be Wednesday.
Okay. The first question's for you. What is Jimmy's number one hangover food cure?
Hangover food cure.
Good.
If it's not food, it could be like something he does to cure his hangover.
Yeah, but I would just I'm just gonna go JG Malin. You know, Jimmy's going JG Malin.
Jimmy?
That answer is wrong. That answer is wrong. It would be a delicious egg and cheese sandwich. Probably even from downstairs on Daily Provisions makes a great egg and cheese sandwich on a brioche bun. It'd be nice. The egg, the sausage, or the bacon. It'd be greasy. I mean, in a wonderful way, Mr. Danny Meyer. That would be my morning breakfast sandwich if I had too many libations the night before.
That's a good one. Finish it off with the
Schatzy,
color.
wrong.
All right,
wrong, sir. Wrong.
I mean, all right. Like you're hungover and you're going to Daily Provisions down by the office. Wrong. Just go ahead. I mean,
egg and cheese sandwich I'm getting. That's what I'm saying.
Please, go ahead.
Okay. Jimmy, what is Schatzy's biggest pet peeve on the podcast?
Oh, that's so easy.
It's not.
Oh, on the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, pet peeve. I would have crushed pet peeve if it wasn't on the podcast. Oh, I got a solo pet peeves outside the podcast. But on the podcast, actually, I'll go with the following. If the equipment is not set up ahead and then he finds himself wanting to roll into the podcast, but he's dealing with mic checks and sound checks, especially if it's something he said maybe we should check in advance and we're doing it when the guests has arrived. Huge pet peeve that we're not ready to go when Schatz is ready to go, even though he'll be late.
This might have happened once or twice.
Well, yeah,
like today. Like it happened today.
That's an affirmative point for Jimmy.
Yeah, no.
Coat.
Yeah, so I'm taking Jimmy to coat. All right, as long as it's Wednesday night, Jimmy, I don't care. As long as it's Wednesday night.
All right, we're going to give you a chance.
I got to see how Jimmy tells Barbara he's going out with Schatzy on Wednesday night. That's going to be great.
She's going to love it.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
All right.
Yeah, well, there's
Schatzy, one more.
Oh, there's more.
You guys get more. You have a chance to redeem yourself here.
Oh, great. Okay.
Okay. What is Jimmy? How does he take his coffee?
Oh, Jimmy likes his coffee. No, he takes his coffee. I remember I've gotten coffee for him.
You guys are fake friends.
It's black with a little bit of milk.
Jimmy?
And he doesn't take sweetener.
Jimmy?
He likes black coffee.
He's laughing pretty hard.
The answer is I like black coffee. The reason why that question cracked me up is Schatzy once asked me, hey, I'm going to meet him. Can I get you a cup of coffee? I said, yes, hot black coffee. He got me iced coffee with cream and sugar. And I said, Schatzy, you didn't get one thing correct. I said hot black.
You know what, Jimmy? It just seemed like such a refreshing drink that you should be drinking.
You're going down in flames, Schatz.
I've tasted iced coffee with milk and sugar. It tastes like Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream. Who wouldn't like that, Jimmy? Like,
yes,
I
showed up.
I know you wanted black coffee. It makes sense. Yes. It was like hot outside. It made no sense.
All right, how'd you do this?
Jimmy,
okay, I'm ready.
Does Schatz want aisle or window seat?
Oh, I put up travel.
Aisle. He's an aisle every time. And if there's ever a question of one of us getting the better seat, that's not a question. Somehow Schatz is like, Jimbo, you got the middle, back, or the window. Schatz always gets the aisle.
And what about the aisle? Like if there's an emergency room exit seat available, who gets that one, Jimmy?
Oh, every time. It's amazing. And if there's one of us getting bumped up to Comfort Plus or Business or First, it's just always the luck of the draw. It's always Schatz.
So,
but I would say,
I don't know why.
He's a travel planner. He probably has concierge key too.
Delta some mysterious ways on their upgrades, Jimmy. I don't know why. Work on your status, man. Work on your status.
Jimmy crushed you.
Yes, Jimmy, because Jimmy pays attention.
I was gonna say.
I don't pay attention to anything. I really don't. Yeah, I really don't pay attention. I got to work on myself. I got to work on a lot. Lauren, I got to tell you, you really opened up a lot here. I mean, this should be your podcast.
Hey, I'm happy to visit with you guys.
I feel like I owe you like $150 for like just listening to me and Jimmy talk.
It's fun times. You know, I'm sure I could get if we had a cocktail version of this. Like
100%. All right, listen, let's just jump right into the Spice is Right because Lauren's got to go. She's got like restaurants to open and brands to do. We're going Spice is Right, create. Spice is Right, create. Jimbo, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so listen, you can't go over. It's Price is Right rules in effect. So you're gonna guess, okay? What is the price of a Dunkin' Donuts breakfast combo? The Dunkin' Donuts breakfast combo, Jimmy knows, he eats there all the time. It includes a breakfast sandwich, a medium coffee, black, and a donut of your choice. In New York City, what do you think the price is of that? I'll go over it again. It's the Dunkin' Donuts breakfast combo. It includes a breakfast sandwich, a medium black coffee, and a donut of your choice. What do you think that costs in dollars and cents in New York City?
I thought you were going to ask in like hospital bills from cholesterol.
We'll go over cholesterol after.
By the way, Jimmy goes to Daily Provisions. I think we covered that.
Oh, he doesn't. That's such a lie. Such a lie. He walks by. He likes it. He yearns to go there.
In New York,
Check my loyalty.
I'm going to go with $5.99.
$5.99. Jimbo, what is your guess for that combo?
$7.25.
$7.25. Jimmy is the winner. I told you he knows Dunkin. $7.99 in New York City for that combo. And let me tell you, there's great value in that, Jimbo. Great value for that, Jimbo.
All the calories you need for the whole day.
It's all you need for the whole day. Like 4,000 calories. It's even for the next day, too. Jimmy, little crystal ball moment?
Little crystal ball moment. LB, when we come back to create 2 years from now, your Crescendo and Miss Cleo hats, how do you see restaurants and dining just 2 years from now in relation to hospitality and tech? What do you think would be the hot things we're talking about? If things move quickly, but 2 years, hospitality and tech, what are you thinking?
In tech specifically?
It doesn't have to be tech specifically, right? It's just like where we're going to be. All right? It doesn't have to be tech, right, Jimbo?
It's wherever you think the hot topics when it comes to dining.
Yeah, what are we talking about in 2 years? Doesn't have to be tech.
Okay, I'm going to go on
position.
Limit up.
Even though I'm extremely youthful, despite your collegiate timing mistake.
I was off by 20 years. Come on, that's not bad.
It's fine.
In the grand scope of the world.
Totally calling my Botox lady, like, supersize me.
Yeah, I got to get more Botox.
I'm going to go OG here because I do believe in this. I think you're going to see a little bit of de-levering from pushing tech onto guests. I think there's going to be a little bit of pushback where people want to interact with guests a little bit more. Like we have and are going to continue to swing the pendulum a little too far. I'm just starting to hear like little inklings of like, I called this restaurant to place an order and they told me to do it online. Or I want to ask a question and there's no server and I can't ask a QR code a question, or I want a recommendation. And I think there's going to be a little bit of a pullback into the people side of things and wanting to have a little bit higher touch.
I like it. I got to tell you, I've heard a lot of people complaining that restaurants don't even answer phones anymore. They just go right to, thank you for calling, make reservations, go to blah, blah, blah. And or send us a note via blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people, they just have a simple question. But I also, on the other side, I do get it. It's expensive just to have someone answer phone to give you an obvious answer, like, where you're located.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like if someone's calling you to ask you, like, I actually called a store that will remain nameless the other day because I was in the center and I couldn't find it. The guy's like, oh, it's across from this place. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm not seeing this. And I call him back. I'm like, I know you think I'm crazy. And he's like, it's okay. Everybody calls all day long. And there are moments like you need that. And I don't know. I think that investment's going to pay off.
I agree. No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, hospitality, you got to I think each concept, each restaurant, each hotel, every brand, you got to just find what's right for you and what the balance is, because I think there's great opportunities, like you said, for simple questions, like a chat bot and stuff like that, like where you're located and it's a chat bot and boom, I got it. You really don't want someone to have to waste time for such a simple question like that. But the ability to, push a button or push a number and say to speak to somebody, you do sometimes have something really important. Maybe it's an event you want to book and it's a real specific question. But I agree with you that you got to make sure we have good balance, right, Jimbo?
In restaurant. Like, I think the other piece of it is like, I was on this. I think that the one thing we will see a deeper dive on tech or on tech side is that we're going to have these, like, rather than calling and waiting on hold, a couple of companies have done this, and our industry is a little usually late to the punch on this. But I was like interacting with Bed Bath & Beyond, and instead of it being like a chat bot on their website, it just started texting me, so you could just respond when you wanted to. So I think that's going to get even better.
Yep.
And then the data side will get better. But if any of my team, if you're listening, if you told someone to go online and order something, you're going to get red rage. That's known around the company.
Red rage.
Red
Jimmy,
rage.
What do you think that means, Jimbo?
It's pure craziness. It's genetic. I can't help it.
Yeah,
it's like the Hulk moment, but for redheads.
More severe than red rum.
Yeah, I tell you, Jimmy, I'm a little nervous. I'm telling you, man. I feel like I might get red raged. I'm getting a little nervous sitting over here.
Why do you think that, Schatzy?
I don't know. You're scary. You're 5'10". You're very scary. You're very scary. I'm like a short little Jew. You're very scary. All right, listen, let's go branded quickfire because Lauren's got to get out of here. All right, I'm going to ask you 5 lightning round questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, do it.
Favorite Jimmy Buffett song?
I Told You, Brown Eyed Girl. Well, it's not his song, but I heard him sing it.
Yeah, that's all right. It doesn't. It's very hard.
Okay.
Favorite California-based TV show? Was it Saved by the Bell, The OC, Sons of Anarchy, 90210, or The Brady Bunch?
Saved by the Bell.
Saved
all
by
the way.
Bell.
Zach Morris.
Favorite California sports team?
I don't do sports really. I know I make all these sports references in my company, and they know it's like total BS.
Jimmy, your favorite California sports team?
Yeah, I'll go with the Lakers. The Lakers.
Yeah, the Lakers. Okay, the show with what's his name was pretty bomb.
Oh, yeah. Winning Time.
Winning Time.
Right?
Yes, Jimmy knows. What's it called?
Winning Time on HBO. The one about the Lakers? No.
Yeah,
hold on, Schatzy. Watch this, Lauren. It's the Winning Time. See, I got it right, Schatzy.
You're wrong about everything. Schatzy, Jimmy's the only one that's right.
Okay, true or false? I'm right. True or false? California is the only U.S. state with a Pacific Ocean coastline.
False.
What are the other two states?
Oregon and Washington.
No.
Really?
Nailed it, Jimbo. Nailed it. Correct. All right, if you were to challenge Jimmy or I to a surfing competition, who do you have better odds of beating?
100% you, just because I just want to whoop your ass.
It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that, honestly. You know, I mean, someone's little ant can whip my ass. It's not very hard. Anyway, look, I really appreciate it. Jimmy, last thoughts for Lauren from New York City?
No, super excited by what you're doing, Lauren. We're thrilled to be part of your fan club and absolutely in your corner always. So
thanks for having me, guys. Go get me a crawler downstairs, Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. All right, thanks so much, Lauren. This is awesome. Appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Touch Bistro is an all-in-one POS and restaurant management system. That's a all-in-one point-of-sale restaurant management system that makes running a restaurant easier, super easy, providing the most essential front-of-house and back-of-house and guest engagement solutions, all on one powerful platform. Touch Bistro helps restaurateurs streamline and simplify their operations, allowing them to spend less time manually connecting the dots and more time connecting with guests and growing their business. That's right, more time connecting with guests and growing their business. Built to meet the unique needs of the restaurant industry. Touch Bistro, it's fast, it's reliable, and it's easy to use. And it has all the features restaurateurs need to increase sales and deliver a great guest experience. And listen to this, it saves you both time and money. Visit touchbistro.com. That's touchbistro.com. And you will learn everything you need about one of the greatest point-of-sale systems ever to come to the market. I encourage everyone to go visit touchbistro.com. And if you want to email us, just email us at podcast@brandonstrategic.com, and we'll make a direct introduction to the folks at Touch Bistro.